This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pointian Bakery. If you're located in the Pointian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pointian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, do you want to start with that then? Do you want to just talk about the Apple thing?
Yeah, sure.
Apple Watch. It was supposed to be, I think, who sent me that?
Sunshine.
My sister? Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. And then sent that thing about like the Apple Watch being discontinued or blocking sales or something. But you said it was only in America?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
their like trade commission or international trade commission was like, well, this case has been going on for 2 years or something.
Okay.
And so the other team they technically won, but nothing was happening. And then the International Commission of Trade thing said they put a ban on it, and then now, so it was supposed to stop sales. It's more like Apple could pay them, but they're saying pay the company.
Wait. Let's set the stage though, in case
nobody knows what's going on.
So basically, so Apple is being sued for tech copying, I guess.
It's a patent infringement, basically.
Yeah, for their blood ox, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of funny because I just did a sleep test this morning, which got tipped off because of the blood ox. That's why I bought the Apple Watch. But all right, anyways, we'll get in that after. But you're saying that it's pretty much resolved, and now
it's not that it's resolved. It's that they won their appeal. Apple won their appeal, so the ban has been lifted during the appeal process.
How long did that ban last? I swear, Sunshine just sent it, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's done. And we're like, oh, that was quick.
No, I don't think.
In my head.
No, the date of the ban was probably from Christmas. I don't remember the date.
So it's only been like a week.
I don't even think they really had a ban too much.
Oh, okay.
It was the holidays anyways, right?
Right. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, did they copy a tech person? Is that why the patent?
Well, yeah, that's the thing that I think Missiano or whatever the other company was. That what basically happened, well, from the story that I know a little bit, which is they were looking to buy that company.
Okay.
Then they hired people from that company instead.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty smart.
So then they're saying that this is
like trade secrets kind of thing. You bought out the people, and then that's interesting. I mean, in the tech world though, because I listened to Business War, and it was the Instagram. So it was Facebook and Instagram, and then the acquisition of Instagram by Facebook. They were just looking at ways to copy it. You know, like Snapchat. They just integrated that. You know, like it's so hard to. Like patenting is very specific in the exact way you've created it, you know, but like if you can adjust it enough, then it becomes a whole new product. You can't actually patent a system. That's why like stories for Instagram is basically Snapchat. They just disappear within 24 hours. It's just pictures. You know, like you can't patent a concept, but you can patent the way it was created.
Sure.
And that's like, you know,
but that's but those are like software things, and I think that this is not an easy fix. And it's not
No,
like
facts,
right. So because it's hardware, it's an actual hardware thing. So
for sure. But I mean, like, even a concept. So you're like, oh, I want a blood ox thing. So you're like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me just create my own version of the blood ox.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, because even Garmin, I'm wearing Garmin and Apple, and like they both have blood oxes. But how come one didn't sue the other? It's because they just came up with a whole different way of creating the blood ox.
Yeah.
But like, like tech is so. That's what I mean. It's like you can't patent a concept. So once you have,
but it's not
idea,
like,
it's like you better
and it's not like Apple's. This is like Apple's first rodeo with patent issues, right?
Oh, really? Oh, so they probably have like a huge team of lawyers that like know exactly.
Well, I'm not saying that they're stealing all the time. That there's so many patent lawsuits that happen that they win most of them.
Yeah, for sure.
That actually, very rare that something like this happens.
When do you go from like stealing to just sharing like an idea? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, so let's say that's the thing. That's the proof would be that how Apple reached to how to make that thing without. You can end up becoming the same, but if they reached it their own way without proving that they have stolen the secrets in a way, so then it would be okay, right? But
yeah, totally. No, for sure. That makes sense. That reminds me of like homework in high school when you'd both have the same answer, but like you'd have to make it just different enough so that your teacher wasn't like, "Oh, you just fully copied one another." Yeah. Well, I guess that was like kind of like a quick issue that arose, and it really just like didn't even materialize to anything because it didn't even.
Well, yeah, it's just due to, I don't know how long the appeal process is going to take, but in that process, maybe they'll figure out for the next Apple Watch something different. I don't know.
Oh, so they're like, all right, cool, bam, this one. All right, we're just gonna make this one really quick turnaround. Yeah, that makes sense. It's weird how long like law issues take. You know,
actually, wait. I just remembered too that there was like different stories, different scenarios that Apple could take. If they win, if the appeal process is a longer time, there is a point where that patent becomes an open thing. Their patent, Marciano's patent, so then they don't have to pay them anymore after that. I forgot which year, couple more years when the patent expires.
Right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
So like I think there was a couple more years left, or 2 or 3 more years left of the patent before it expires.
Okay. Yeah, see, business is so clever. Like one thing when I was taking that business law course, he's like a corporate lawyer, the guy who was teaching the course, and he was saying that if you just want to like the best way to build a new product is to go to a different country, figure it out, then bring it back to this country, because patents only work within the country that you registered it in. You know, it's not like a world, but you think about that, right? You're like, oh, if I patent this here, it must be a global thing, but it's like, no, you have to patent it in every single country. So
that's why it's not
literally Apple.
Exactly. That's why it wasn't banned outside of the United States.
America. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. So it's like, it's really like country specific. Laws are so interesting in that way. You know, it's like there's another thing that I thought was pretty interesting with law. If you break a law in one country, it's like, but where do you hold that trial? You know, like they've had like
there's like then there's like international courts for that, or
right,
different
we're all playing with these different systems of governance. How do you like? I don't even know how you'd reconcile that, but it's just interesting because you can like.
That's why, there's a lot of gray areas in that world, just because it's, with international stuff.
Yeah, there's like even with accounting, right? It's like, so for a small example, so like if you work from home, right? You're like, okay, this area is my office space, right? But you're like, can I also claim the kitchen technically because I also walk into the kitchen, that's where my coffee is, and then you start getting to the gray zone of like how far can you expand your quote unquote office space to write off that against your like yearly income. You know what I'm saying? And like it's funny because like that's why you need like creative accountants, but that's why they built business ethics. So like there's an actual course called business ethics where it's like yes, you have these gray areas, but like what's ethically okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But you just have to find the person that thinks that it's like ethically okay, and then, you know, like does
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
magic,
yeah, yeah.
like offshore accounting stuff like that. It's like, well, technically, I wasn't breaking the law because
Yeah. It's how you.
that's how.
It's the wording in the law too, right? Like how you twist the
Yeah,
meaning.
facts,
I don't. Yeah, or
facts is
like
facts.
have a different meaning or understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, totally. And like if you think about it as well, um, when you see all these like billionaires paying like zero tax, like Trump who allegedly paid zero tax, but it's like no, he had a really good accountant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we like vilify him for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
can you
yeah.
really vilify somebody for just playing the game? You know what I mean? But there's different like levels of knowledge. Like it may look bad, but it's like not actually bad because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still playing with rules. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, that's an interesting one, like moral high grounds and stuff. Um, yeah, but this dovetails into the sleep study I actually got, and I was thinking about that too with like the knowledge base because it's like as I was doing the sleep study, I was like, how many people would even think to do a sleep study? That's like a knowledge
Mm-hmm.
deficit there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like because I have tear in my back pocket to be like, hey, this kind of seems like this, then I would know to get tested for this. Whereas most people would just get like pills or something. It's just like, oh, we don't know what the solution is. We'll just go like with our best guess. You know, like I feel like every doctor, every tradesperson, I guess everyone in the world really is like, it's who you hire. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like your knowledge we might be trained in the same thing, but my experience and my guess is better than your experience and guess. Do you know what I'm saying
Yeah.
by that? Did you see that thing I posted with the katana? They're all like katanas, and then they just show the difference between like a master swordsman who cut through all of the pieces in one,
Mm-hmm.
whereas like everyone had to like hack through it. But it's like it's all the same katana, but it's the wielder, and that's why you pay a premium for everything, right? That's why like the best doctors have like the best spaces and whatever.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, sleep studies I would not recommend if you're just like, hey, maybe I have this, but like they're not fun. I thought it was gonna be like you go there, you like sleep, it wouldn't be so invasive. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, they didn't prick me with anything,
Yeah.
but like all the glue, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't even understand how you can sleep in those environments. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I had so much glue and like wires hanging off me, and then they're like, "Okay, go to sleep now." I'm like, "How am I supposed to do this?" It was so funny too because the guy was like, I'll wake you up at 5:30 in the morning to like leave, right?" And I was like, "Hey, can you buzz me and just like talk to me through the intercom instead of coming in? Because usually they come in like gently wake you, right?" And he's like, "Oh, why?" And I was like, "I might kick you." I'm just because that actually happened a few times where like I'd be freaked out waking up and like get ready to kick someone,
Right.
just because of the training.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't want that to happen to the guy. But I woke up at like 1 in the morning, and I almost tapped out because I was like, I can't do this. You're just so sweaty with like the wires and like itchy,
Mm-hmm.
I asked him like, hey, do I have to stay for the full study? And he's like, yeah, or else you have to sign a paper and basically void the study. And I
Mm.
was like, oh, I only got like 3 hours left, you know? And yeah,
But
he
I
kind of like
wonder,
made
like
fun of
that
it, you
itself
know?
is like that is a bit. I don't want to say invasive, but that being in the study and you're going through that is you're still not having a normal sleep. You still wouldn't have a
Yeah,
normal
totally.
sleep, right?
Yeah, facts are facts. I guess they just want to see like that, but that's why I asked you like, is it in them? I asked them, is it like enough to just be here for like the duration
Mm-hmm.
I was already here? Because I was like, I already fell asleep. I just woke up again, and I'm like, it's gonna be hard to go back to sleep, And he's just like, no, it has to be for like 6 hours. Even if I'm awake for the 6 hours, like I have to be there technically for a full 6 hours, which is like, yeah, that's some weirdness, and it's like not even. I don't know. It's just like they're watching you throughout the whole night, so you're like extra aware of that. You can
Yeah,
hear
that's another
people.
thing.
And
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
yeah,
had
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so weird. Yeah, unless you like really suspect it, like don't even just do that for fun. Like, I would not recommend. It's not cool. But yeah, I was thinking like since it's almost New Year's, like 2024, I would just start tackling like health issues. So like that's why I got the blood test and like sleep apnea and stuff. I went to a chiropractor recently, and it's funny because like you hear, especially if you listen to Joe Rogan, he like craps on chiropractors a lot. And like from sitting, I think I complained about it like last week, like sitting. I was like, oh, does your back hurt from sitting? And you're like, no, I actually stand or whatever. And I went to her, and I was kind of like incredulous, like, oh, what are you really gonna do with like a push, bro? Like, what's this really gonna do? But she's like a weightlifter, so I trusted her more because she's like sports based, and she like just kept rattling off information. She's like, I'm a very chatty. She owns the clinic, and she's like, I'm a very chatty chiropractor because like I feel like if you know what we're doing, it'll make the treatment better. Whereas like if you don't know what I'm doing, your body's gonna resist. You know?
Yeah, right. Right.
It makes sense. And she was saying that like, so I was explaining the thing, and then she was like feeling the area, and then she's like, oh, I could feel that knot thing, and I was like, that's interesting. So my back was like weak, right? I was like, oh, dude, this is like killing me. So she's like, all right, I'm just gonna like massage the area to like relax the muscle, and then I'm gonna push. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh, is this gonna hurt? Like, you know, like nervous about this stuff. And then I swear she went like pop, and I sat up, and I was like, oh, it's gone. I was like, what just happened? And then she's like, yeah, the only problem is like the next 2 or 3 days, it might remember how it was in that position, so it'll revert back, but we're hoping it won't. And then like, I'll see you next week, ask how you feel. And yeah, it's like, it hasn't come back since then. But how weird is that? It's just like these little things that you don't think about that are actually aiding or like either helping you or harming you with your health, you know? Like with the caffeine, remember I was like drinking all those espressos and then I had the crazy high blood pressure and then it's like, we just cut that out, it's gone, you know? Or like the binge eating, gone, high blood pressure. And like this one little push, you're like, how did that work? You know?
I think, there was a normal process to go to like getting massages. Like this should be part of our routine, I think.
But like, it's so weird though. You're like, how is this going to help? You know? Like, doesn't it seem weird to you that this one person is just gonna push on your back? And basically what she said though, like it made sense. That's why I really like, I'm gonna keep going back to her for like all my sports related injuries. Basically what she said was, your body is in alignment usually, but it like slips out of alignment. And what we do when we push is we push it back to alignment. And that's what it is, right? But like, I don't know. What did you do back in like the, you know, ancient Roman times?
I think they probably had things like this. I think they had things like this.
So, eh?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't think like all the practices may necessarily have worked, but I'm sure some of the things within the practice would have worked, right?
Right, like witch doctory kind of things, right?
Yeah.
I really want to try. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it just reminds me of like the cars need to go to a mechanic all the time. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. No, facts are facts. That's how I tried to look at it because like I'm like naturally health averse. Even when I went in, I was like, because she knows Tara, and then she like she read, oh, you're like Tara's husband. Oh, okay. Like, and she expected me to kind of be like Tara, but I was like, I'm very scared. You know, like I was like, hey, I don't like any of this health stuff. So like walk me through this, whatever. And yeah, it's like the only way I can make it click in my mind to like go after these health procedures be like, your body's a car. We need to just check the oil. So like that's what the blood test was like. Let's just see what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
But like we don't think about our bodies as a vehicle. Like, do you think most people even think about their bodies at all? That's a weird question. You know what I mean?
I think only generally when there's an issue.
Right, yeah, and you're like, how do I fix this? But like on the whole, most people just think of it like a pleasure machine, I would say. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. Sure. It's just going, you're just experiencing when the mind, yeah.
Right, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is like, oh, this food's gonna be good. This movie's gonna be good.
Right.
You know? We don't think about like, I need a tune-up for my vehicle. You remember Gundam Wing? Like the movie, the anime? And like they're in these mech suits.
Yeah.
I've tried to like make that weird shift in my mind to be like, I'm driving in a mech suit. Like what do we need to do to make sure that this mech is working
Yeah. Right.
right? And if we don't, I think if we like don't think of it in that way, you like run the risk of, I don't know, like waking up and you're like, oh, I'm like super sick or something,
Sure. Yeah.
I guess that jumps into like the whole my life is a video game kind of thing, because I'm like thinking of it like, oh, this is the avatar that I'm like walking around in. I need some sort of like, but that's also why I'm like so into like numbing cream and like tech stuff like that. Anything that'll like alleviate it, because like why was this invented in the first place? If not, because like, all right, I hate needles, right? So I use the numbing cream, and then like my family and my cousins are like, oh, why do you need that stuff, right? But it's like, but it was invented literally to ease the pain of the thing, so why not use it? You know what I'm saying? But we have this like, I don't know, macho bravado about health in that way. Do you find that too? Like, I guess if you don't need it, like it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But if the psychological pain is there, like the fear, the aversion, it's like, yeah, this will help.
Oh yeah. If that's there, of course, yeah. You got to try to find a way to alleviate the fear or to reduce it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like caffeine too. Like I woke up, I'm tired, and like actually even as we do this podcast, I'm like in a fog because I'm like, oh dude, I did not sleep, so I'm like running on like lots of coffee and Monster right now. But it's like being a shaman, because they're like, hey, you just need this to get through this day, or like, oh, you need a little bit of Advil, or like this will help, in this.
Sure. Yeah.
But I wonder how many of us think about like drugs and all that as like an actual, like it's beyond like illicit drugs. You know what I mean? When people say like, oh, I don't do drugs. Oh, do you drink caffeine? Because that's technically a drug. Or like smoke cigarettes, or like I don't know, eat sugar. Yeah. It's like this,
I mean, I don't know. Like I was surprised to understand. Like, I mean, a lot of people take, like, they feel like a slight headache or some kind of pain, they'll take Tylenol. Like that's a no. I'm saying like that's like I didn't realize how normal of a routine that is, because that's not my normal routine.
Okay.
I've very,
so it's just not baked in.
Yeah, it's not baked. I very rarely take tablets.
Interesting. Okay, this is an interesting thought, because like, why is it that way? Like, how? Because I know people like you too who don't take medicine unless you absolutely need it. But what's the thought process there? Because for me, it's like, if I feel it coming on, might as well nip it in the bud before it gets worse.
Well, because it doesn't really. I don't think I need it. I don't feel like I get headaches enough that I need it. Or I just make sure I've gotten my 8 hours. Or it's like, oh, there's a headache. Okay, why? Oh, I didn't drink enough water today. All right, like if something comes up, then it's more like, okay, I understand what was the issue.
Interesting. But then, like, so you're saying you never gotten a headache?
No, I of
like
course,
a muscle or.
No, I do get those if you work out or go to swimming or gym.
Never mind. But you're like, never mind, I won't take a.
I don't think it's not. I'd say like it's not that bothersome that I can't go around doing stuff.
Oh, interesting. So it's like almost like a last resort kind of thing for you if it's really impeding your life.
Sure.
Huh. I wonder how many people actually feel that way too. Maybe if we like look at. Maybe it's all right. I'm trying to think, like, is it brain chemistry that makes people this way, or is it like learned behavior?
Well, it could be both. Because I wasn't around that people were just taking tablets all the time. Or like.
I mean, me either though. Like my parents don't really do that. And They kind of warned me. They're like, "Oh, that's gonna be bad for you." But I think, because like, what is the lethal dose? What is the point
yeah.
Or not even lethal, just what's the harmful dose? If I take this once a day, is it going to hurt me? If I take this like twice a day, is that when it's going to hurt me? And then I work back that way. I'm like, well, what can I take before doing damage? And if it will do damage, I'll stop taking it. But I don't think crutches
I think
are.
I think for me it would be like the last resort thing. Like, can I
Yeah,
can I get out of bed? Can I do stuff? Then it's not that bad.
interesting. Actually, wait, hold on. Because I'm trying to think about it in terms of the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, right? So maybe, okay, question. Is productivity more important to you than alleviating that feeling? So, like, all right, if you have a headache, you're like, I'll just slow down a bit. Like, what's your thought process? You're
Uh,
like, are you going to slow down?
it depends. I mean,
Okay.
I guess where it happens, right? Yeah, probably would slow down in that sense.
Okay, cool. So that is my theory. That was my theory actually, because the reason why I do those things is because I want to keep pushing. So it's like if my back hurts or something, or I have like allergies that day, I'm like, all right, chalk myself up full of like pills, head to jujitsu, or like chalk myself up full of pills, get this work done, read this book. You know what I mean? Whereas I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people who will like their norm is like slowing down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whereas I want to keep the consistent pace, and maybe that's why I rely on the crutches
Sure.
in order to just keep going,
Yeah.
you know, because it's interesting when you think about like the two types of people, the people that take pills and the people that don't take pills. I've always been curious about like what's the mindset behind like not taking pills,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but like I guess it does make sense if my focus is on productivity, whereas yours is like health and rejuvenation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I tried. I tried. Well, hopefully, you're not listening to this podcast. You're like, oh, that's terrible. But I tried. I tried wake and baking. This past week because I was just curious. I'm like, what do people? Well, all right, technically, because the productivity is always more important to me than like the experience. So I started early. I didn't actually just straight up wake and bake. But I don't understand because I was curious, you know, like how do people do that? Like, what is their, I don't know, their like thought process behind that?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is like the wrong conversation now because you've never waked and baked, right? But like I know people, we both know people who do, right? So it's like, what does it feel like to like go into that state? Are you more productive? Are you just like hyper focused? I hear people are like hyper focused, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I did it and I was like, oh, this is just lethargy. You know? I just like watched movies and ate. And I was like, I don't need to do work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas like, yeah, it's just interesting that you think about like the different ways people run their system, like they run their video
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
playing,
Sure.
you know? And you're just like, oh, how do you operate like this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually understand, you know? But I mean, people are just like, it works for me. Like Wiz Khalifa,
Right.
you know, or Snoop Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
They're hyper productive. Joe Rogan, hyper productive. But yet they're like doing it under the influence. You're like, I just don't know how you can manage, you know?
Maybe they're already at a higher
Oh,
productivity.
threshold.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe it's
Like, okay,
like maybe it's just still bringing them down, but to normal. I don't want to say normal, but like.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's like you're like, you're too like anxious because of your
Mm-hmm.
workload. So you'll do this and then it'll like bring you down to a normal state. Whereas like I need extra coffee to get me to that
Sure. Right.
normal
Yeah.
state
Right.
to be productive. That's interesting. Yeah, it's so funny that adage of like, you know, you don't know what other people are going through
Mm-hmm.
because just the brain chemistry alone, you know, this person could be going through like some full on panic attack anxiety, whereas you're like, oh, I'm chill, you know?
Right.
But you can't tell because you're not in their mind,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fascinating. Um, yeah, I have you seen you didn't see any movies recently, right? Like in
No.
theaters?
In theaters. No.
Oh, okay.
Not an
I
English
checked
movie.
out.
No.
Oh, you trying? All right, let's talk about Godzilla because I think we brought it up last time,
Mhm.
and I finally watched it. It was a good movie. I see what you mean. Like, if you are on the fence about watching Godzilla minus one, I would highly recommend it. It is it's like almost like an anime in a way.
Yeah.
You know, not just because they're talking Japanese, but like the actual filming style where they place the emphasis on um like the storyline of the characters
Mm-hmm.
versus the monster.
Yeah.
You know, like in most Western horror movies, they put like all this emphasis on, like Cloverfield, place a lot of emphasis on the monster,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whereas in like this one, the backdrop was the monster, but it was more how they were like rebuilding post World War II,
Yeah.
which I thought was so fascinating. Like, you never think about what they went through after like the Oppenheimer moment of the two
Sure.
atom bombs going off, you know? Like, what must it be like to have to rebuild an entire nation,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And have to like, because when you see it in the movie, they're all in like huts, but it makes sense because, you know, everything got
That's
blown
really
up, everything got
exactly.
destroyed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's so funny because as well, because you're like, Japan came up with like anime and like all this other technological stuff and this
Mm-hmm.
like cultural revolution, fashion, a lot of, you know, but to think that, you know, how long was World War II?
Total
Was it
was
100 years ago?
oh,
Was it even 100 years ago?
1945 is when it ended, right? So
Okay, so 1945 till now, so it's like almost
90.
like eight, sure.
Yeah.
No, not 90, 2023, 45. So like 80 years?
Yeah, 80 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
But they've
so
been
within
rebuilt
80
earlier than 80 years, though, right? Like especially
right. So,
Hiroshima. Yeah.
yeah, right. So that's a mind blow to me because it's like you escalated your technological advance so quickly in 80 years, you know? And like where you are now as compared to when you see Godzilla -1 and just huts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost unbelievable that you could advance so quickly, and it makes you wonder what it'll look like in 1,000 years.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, how are we still? This is kind of like an alienish topic, but how are we still running like gas cars? Like that level of advancement in 80 years, and it's almost like we got stifled at some point.
I think
You know,
I understand what you're saying, but I think also that the growth happened because of fossil fuels. That the recovery to be back that quickly
facts. No,
was
totally,
only because of fossil fuels, right? So
for sure.
So if that's the main point, it's hard to like, you know what I mean? That's the main thing that's giving us that resource to do that. That is hard to find something different when that is the main thing.
Yeah, totally. So we built our backbone of society is oil,
mm-hmm.
which is kind of ironic because now we want to stop global warming, which is fascinating. We'll get into that in a second, but we want to stop global warming, but in order to stop it, we have to stop the thing that we relied on so heavily
mm-hmm.
to get us to this point. You know, it was really the most salient thing was watching Godzilla -1 because it was like, oh, they rebuilt so quickly. Like it was literally huts. It's not like here where it's like, oh, you could see the slow development. Like, oh, you exploded in 80 years. Like,
mm-hmm.
what just happened? You know? And you're right. It is because of like fossil fuels and like global commercialization, all those things, right? So
yeah, I mean, like and the rebuild effort from other countries. It's not just, I wouldn't say like due to Japan, right?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like after war, like companies come in, like that's what even with Ukraine and stuff. The point is, the rebuild effort. Yeah. Rebuild efforts for the money's that too. So it's like,
Did you hear about that? That's crazy. That like theory of I don't even know if it's a theory at this point, but it's like they through the war, the real profits can be made in the rebuild effort. So they know it's totally cool. We just blow this up because we're going to get so many contracts off of this, like to rebuild.
mm-hmm.
Like that's where our money's going to come from, you know? And if that's true, it's like, what kind of game are we all playing? Did you watch?
Well, there will be people taking any kind of thing. There will be people wanting to take opportunity, right? To make money. That's the main.
Yeah, facts.
That's the main
totally. Yeah, but it's weird because it's like that's the long-term goal. It's like we know it's destroyed right now, but we'll make way more money when we're rebuilding this thing. Did you watch Leave the World Behind?
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Wait, that's the. Oh yeah. It's a few weeks ago now that I watched it.
Yeah. So that movie was super telling for me. I posted that it was like brilliant and insightful, and then I got like a weird question mark on it. Like, what are you talking about? But the way that they,
I loved it. There was question.
I loved it too.
And I think the controversy was like the ending and stuff. I thought the ending was good.
No, but right, I totally. That's so funny because like Tara's sister asked me like, "What do you think of the ending?" And I was like, "Oh no, I thought it was genius, right?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "No, because like for us, that's us. We're looking for
exactly,
to numb ourselves as this is all happening. She just wants to watch Friends, and she wants to like fill herself with junk food and just like." If it's burning, let me just entertain myself while we can. So it's so funny. She's like, "Oh wow, you saw a deeper meaning there." I was like, "Yeah, it was the movie."
Yeah, that was the point. Yeah,
that's what I got from it. Wasn't literal, Actually, what's really funny about it too? I
mean, she was asking for like I think that was telling throughout the movie. She kept asking, "What happened at the end?" Nobody was telling her the ending of Friends.
Yeah.
That was more important to her
about, right?
than the end of the world.
Yeah, facts. Facts. And that is us. Like we are heading towards this thing that people are warning about, and all we can do is just really entertain ourselves because we can't do anything about it. It's almost like I don't know. It's like apathy, but
it's both. Yeah, because even when she all spoilers, but like when she found the bunker, like what else are we going to do in that kind of world?
Totally.
We're just going to be entertaining ourselves. We're going to watch stuff. That's just the normal thing that we all do.
Yeah, totally. I think I talked about this during COVID, but when I was a little kid and we were playing like online video games, and I was in my basement, and I was thinking about how it'd be weird if the outside world was like toxic, and all we could do was communicate through these computers. Like if you go back to the old COVID podcast, like I talked about this thought I had, and that literally would be what we'd be doing. Like we would just be entertaining ourselves in these bunkers.
Yeah.
We'd like have these online worlds, but who would be brave enough to make sure that the internet's still going and like the power's still there? You know what I mean? Like those would be the real heroes. But
there's other levels to it too, where it's like, well, we live in an internet world. We don't own anything, right? We're not.
Yes.
Once we lose the Netflix,
dude, that's freaky.
Like even like we don't buy physical movies anymore. They're all done. They're all gone.
That's why they have the physical. That's why they have the physical.
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
Right, the physical DVDs at the very end. Yeah,
because that's the only thing that I think it's like. There's multiple meanings to that too, because it's like we don't own any of this anymore. We're gonna as soon as the internet's down, we're losing it all.
There's this guy, I forgot who he was, but he posted this thing where it's like, I don't know when the power grid's gonna go down, but the power grid is gonna go down. Like that's kind of like doom and gloom for 2024, but scientists have been talking about like a solar flare that'll like knock out the internet and stuff.
Sure.
And I had this revelation a while back because my work is primarily online, and I was like, all of these interactions are on our phone or computer. If I shut this off, you don't exist anymore. How trippy is that?
Yeah.
Like fearing that you have to like get a project done or like speak to your boss or like, I don't know, anything related to digital interaction, just turn the internet off, bro. Like, oh, it's power outage. You know? And it's like, you're not actually accountable for anything. None of this is real. Only like physical things are real. But I guess, can you say it's really not real? Is it real? Is what we're doing real? It is to some degree, but like, like how you define real, I guess.
Sure, yeah. There's degrees to it, I guess. Levels.
Yeah. But like physically, you are not physically real to me right now. And what's that going to be like if there is like a power outage, solar flare, like it's done?
Yeah, yeah.
How would we even like in the movie Leave the World Behind? Remember the dad was just going off about he's like, I'm so useless without the GPS and like
Yes.
whatever. It's like, yeah, that's the same, bro. Like,
Exactly.
I don't really know. You know, we built up such a level of comfort, but if we took out power, we'd be done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaky, right?
That's what we rely on. Yeah, I know.
Right? It's like it's so paper thin too.
But how quickly it changed too, though, right? Like our parents' generation, they had physical things. If the world went out at that time, they probably would have survived through it.
Yeah,
in some fashion.
Yeah, because
right,
we didn't really rely on it as much, though.
No, exactly. Now our reliability on the internet, everything relies on that.
Yeah, quite literally. Actually, I was picking up a card from Dollarama, and what would we do before FaceTime? You know, because I was like, which card should I get? And then Tara's just like, FaceTime me. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, whoa, this is weird, bro. You know what I mean? Whereas before, like you'd have like a weird description, like there's a bunny on the front and it says this.
Yeah.
But now you can like physically see her, like, oh, I like that one,
right?
Not that one.
See.
Wild. Well, like our level of like comfort is at an all-time high.
It's comfort and convenience. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But there's risks to it all.
But what?
Yeah.
But what do we have that's real? You know, like even as simple as I remember when the power was out a long time ago, in our parents' house, and we're like, how do we open the garage if the power's out because it's locked?
Yeah.
You know, now our cars are trapped inside. You know, like what? Yeah, what do we do if everything shut off?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah.
I got like even with I love that movie. It was really good. I was waiting for you to see it, then I was going to explain to you, but you already saw that other stuff where just like Obama's production company was part of this. He did a lot of the
I didn't know that.
Changing the script and stuff to get it more realistic.
Yeah, totally. I could see that.
I feel like this is like one of the fears of being a president.
Oh my God, that's so funny you just said that. So as we were watching the movie, it was filmed like a horror movie. Okay?
Yeah.
And like Tara's like, she's like, I don't want to watch this movie. Like, I don't get it. And I was like, trust me, it'll all make sense and it'll be so logical. Like midway through, and she kept going like, when's it going to be explained? But then I realized, it actually gets explained at the end. It's not actually midway through, because I kept like prompting like, hold on, it's almost there, and then we were at the end of the movie. I was like, oh, never mind, sorry. But so one thing she said was, is this Obama's biggest fear put into a movie?
That's what I got, where it's like, I don't think it's Obama's. It could have been Obama's, but I feel like this is a president's fear, which is civil war, because it hasn't happened since Abraham Lincoln's time, and it feels like that's kind of like the vibe or the energy that's there, especially after Trump,
for sure.
That it's much more of a being a president. This is a fear of a civil war.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Okay, but with that though, I also got that it was like they were using their tactics against them. Remember, they're like, this is a multi-stage attack that we use. It's the most cost-efficient way to bring down governments, which is like you confuse them and then you make no enemy, and then they just infight with themselves. And I was thinking, like, how accurate is this movie? Like, this is like the big fear that we'd all fight each other, but what are the chances that we'd all just unify?
Well, this is the fear of that. We don't. If we unify, then it's different, right? It's a different world.
Oh, this is like the opposite end.
Yeah,
of like this could go good
if it goes in this direction. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and like that's what they were showing. Like the whole misinformation. That's the other thing that generally happens now, right? Misinformation of news, where is generating fear. Like where one side of the world got like the pamphlets that were like
Korean or Chinese.
and then the other side was getting Middle Eastern or Islamic Arabic sayings, right? So like that's causing the confusion. That's bringing about all that kind of stuff. So that's like misinformation.
Although that one dude said like we've made a lot of enemies, so like maybe they've just teamed up. And you're like, actually, maybe that.
No, that's what it seemed like at first. Because as you're going through the movie, it's like, is this an attack from the enemy? But then you find out by the end that it's a civil war.
Oh, what they want to set in motion.
Yeah.
No, but who is the actual enemy though? Like it might not be just one.
No. It's a civil war in the sense like it's the rebels in the military. It's the.
Hey, wait, what do you mean? You think it was inside job?
Yeah, it's not from another country.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't get that.
I get it. I viewed it like it's a civil war.
That's a different movie if it is a civil war, bro. Yeah, that's a totally different movie if it's because it's like, why would you?
That's why I sent the other trailer for the other movie, that Civil War one. That's where I felt like I think my brother said like if you watch this movie then watch that trailer. Then that's about Civil War. It says it's Civil War, right? Where this was
that's so interesting.
Yeah, this is where like you don't know what's going on. I thought, is it a fight? Is it a war between the other countries? Like they add all that stuff, but I feel like that's just what we're assuming to the point. I think at the end, I don't remember what it exactly said on the screen now, but what I felt like it was. I think it was. It's more like a civil war.
Oh wow! If you look at it as like a civil war, that's even freakier because that could happen. Because who would attack America to that degree? Like, who would hack it?
Only within America. Their own military has this power.
Wow, that's trippy. Oh, that actually makes the movie even better now. If you watch it through a Civil War perspective, yeah. I mean, there's so many things now that make you worried about the future that I don't know, just like I really feel. Okay, wait, hold on. It's two things. Either we are, because my sister asked me about this as well, like with the UFOs. She's like, "How do you know it's real?" And I'm like, "Oh," I started explaining, and then she's like, "Oh, so should we just like buy like water and like?" And I'm like, "No, because that's just more marketing. We've been doing that, and I think that was really brought on by our generation. You know, Y2K. 2012. What was the next? Remember they kept pushing it back, like the Mayan calendar says that.
Oh yeah. End of the days.
You're right, you know what I mean?
Or something.
Right? Yeah,
end of the world. Yeah.
And then like, oh, global warming is going to happen at this time, and like, so we really thought
we've been adding, right? End of the world schemes.
Yeah. But it almost makes it sort of, in a way, the boy who cried wolf. Because you're like, how many times am I going to think the world's going to end before I just realize, oh, it's not going to end? You know, because when my sister was like,
I wonder if these movies, as they're there, it's more like it's teaching us a lesson and stuff like that. And I feel like we all, even through the Mayan end of the world or whatever, even there were movies at the time of end of, and it's kind of like teaching us a movie. Maybe like that's why it's like we haven't fallen to it yet, to a point of end of the world. I don't think we're going to get there. But I think these are movies that keep reminding us of things that are why we shouldn't get to that point. Yeah.
But there's certain the ones that we couldn't fix. You know what I mean? Like the Y2K one. Remember everyone's like, oh, because it's 000, the computers won't actually know that it's 000, and the calendars will be all messed up. But like to me, I was like, wouldn't somebody have thought of that? Like, really, you built all these computers and you didn't?
No, I think it's more like I think if you actually talk to a person that knew of these things, I don't think it was like, no, this is nonsense. Somebody made this like conspiracy up that could just spread like as if it's real news. Yeah,
totally. But like going back to the water thing, I'm like, I think it's just a marketing ploy because we keep going back to, you know, the end of the world stuff. And we just keep generating more sales for random products.
Sure.
Like, how many people have?
That's true too. Yeah. No, I think it could be both. Yeah, people will misuse it to take, like, sell more water or sell this or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But how, like, all right, so what's also freaking me out is, like, how many times do you do it before the boy who cried wolf doesn't get listened to anymore when it's time to really listen?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
I saw those posts about, like, solar flare from the sun's going to knock off our power grid. And, like, the day passed and you're like, well, nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what if something serious is going to happen? And we're like, I don't believe you. It's not going to.
Right.
Yeah. You know who had a really great take on this as well? You won't believe me. Dragon Ball Z. So it's crazy, bro. So what they did. Okay, so there's two main lessons. I finished Dragon Ball Z. I'm on GT now. There's two main lessons that Dragon Ball Z wanted to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one was that pride can get you in a lot of trouble. So they could have kept destroying the main bad guy. Okay? So, like, there was always like, oh, I'm going to kill him now. You know what? We're going to prolong this fight. And then they would, like, not use their full power. And then all of a sudden, like, the bad person would just figure out a way to get stronger. And they're like, no, if only I had destroyed them sooner, So, like, that was one lesson. But then the other lesson was they were trying to create this spirit bomb to destroy the final bad guy, Majin Buu. And they were using telepathy to ask everyone on Earth to give Goku their power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Nobody wanted to listen. They're like, oh, who is this guy? Why are you telling me to put my hands in the air? Whatever. It's like, it's so simple. Just put your hands in the air, bro. Okay? And then they went through another thing. They're like, oh, the reason why it's probably not working is because they need witnesses. And it made me think of, like, Jesus and his 12 disciples. You know how they're going around like, the Holy Spirit will save you. So they literally went around trying to tell people, put your hands in the air, it'll save you. Majin Buu is going to kill you. Nobody would listen. Okay? So then Hercule, who lied about killing the previous bad guy, so everyone thought that this one guy, right? Well, for people who don't know, the person, so the person that they said killed the main bad guy is actually really weak, and he actually didn't kill the bad guy, but the whole world thought he did.
Right.
So then Hercule comes on and telepathically is like, we need to band together, and like, oh, it's Hercule. Yeah, I'll do it for you, Hercule. And then he ended up being the one to save the world. And I'm like, marketing matters. That's the true lesson. Aside from the pride thing,
right.
Marketing is the true lesson of Dragon Ball Z.
Sure.
Because it wasn't real. He wasn't stronger than the Z fighters, but nobody would listen to him because he had no following.
Yeah.
Trippy, eh?
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's like how the world is run.
That's kind of why it's like, when real, let's say, scientists are talking about, like, climate change, no one's listening. But if a person like a basketball player who has a bigger following, much more of a loving fan base. Why do we look to
celebrities?
Yeah, exactly. Why? That's exactly why we look to celebrities. That's exactly why those celebrities, when they realize they have that power, that they do use it, right? But then we do question them. It's like, oh, you're just a celebrity. But then you forget.
We do.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people actually do.
No, I know. But then I think even, like, you have to remember that the reason they're doing it is because they have this level of influence.
Yeah, facts.
Right?
And I think that really, like, I don't know if people just don't like truth, So, like, going back to, like, the Scarborough Soldier Club that we talked about last week, the level of reality that I'm personally looking for is pretty high, But then I actually don't know how many people, because, like, me and Tara were workshopping it, and we're like, maybe it should be, like, small. Maybe it's just, like, a group of people in the beginning, because how many people don't want the commercialization? You know what I'm saying? Like, most people really just want commercialization. Actually, one of, I won't name who this person is, but if you're listening to this, you totally know who you are. I was like, hey, do you want to join up? And, like, this was, like, way back during COVID. I was like, oh, do you want to open up a space, work together? Like, we could both teach martial arts because we, have a lot of experience teaching martial arts. And this person was like, I realize that you don't need martial arts. And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what are we practicing? And this person was like, people just want to feel good. They don't actually want martial arts. I could be teaching them nothing. And I was like, wow, you just, like, left the martial way. Because we started out, like, me and this person, we were so into martial arts, like, the reality of martial arts.
Yeah.
And, like, I just kept going. And it turns out this person just realized the commercialization aspect and was like, oh, I just make more money if I just don't actually. I make you feel like you're doing something important, but you really do nothing. And it's like, is that just what we want? We want to be satiated by like, I don't know, like pats on the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which actually goes into leave the world behind again. Because remember, he's like, the real truth is scarier. We think that there's a group of people running this.
Exactly. Yeah. That I remember
show,
that one. Yeah.
But nobody's running the show, and the best we can get is a heads up.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason why this dovetails in, it's like it goes back to Hercule. It's like marketing matters, bro. Like nobody's running anything. So what you have to do is you have to like gather the herd, push them. Actually, that actually answers the question we've been asking for a while, which is like, are we just a herd species? And we really are. You know, like Leave the World Behind really brought that up in that the most powerful people in charge just want a heads up. Like that's the best they could hope for.
Yeah.
Because if everything goes down, it's like you're just one of us, bro. Like the solar flare happens, you're just one of us.
Yeah.
Because we're really just humans as this giant herd, like migrating around, hoping that somebody has the answer.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, freaky though.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we at in terms of time?
55 minutes. I got a few more minutes.
Oh, you got to jump?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to say that earlier. I forgot to say that earlier.
Okay, all good. Okay, so I'll just burn through these last ones. Let me see. Leave the world behind. UAP. Okay, so what do you think of the UAP Biden thing that I sent? Did you see it?
Yeah, but I don't think I had to see the video that had it. I haven't seen that video.
It's in the video.
No, I heard that video is actually not the real video.
The one that they played on the news? Oh, that's even freakier because like, you're just playing fake videos? Like what? Or wait, is that the shorter video or is it just not the actual video?
It's not the actual video.
Oh, come on, bro. Okay, so how do we trust anything at this point? That's wild. What? Like, because you put that on like news.
Yeah, but then you're again. That's also I don't know if it's real or like how much of it's real, because that was like the information that was going on. Like that's not a real footage. That's like an older footage of something else.
Or is this like a psyop, bro? Like a psyop on a psyop. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh, just say it's disinformation.
Yeah. Because I don't know what even in that video, I don't know what I saw in that video.
Like the just little orb that they like highlighted. Basically, what these pilots are all seeing is a.
Because weren't they like playing through different like UFO things? Because I don't know if they actually played the video of what they were talking about.
No, they did in the very first scene is the video, and then the other UAP stuff is like declassified footage.
But so that's what I was saying. Like I always look at the comments to see like what other people are trying to say, and like there's like some people were saying like that's an older video of something else.
Okay.
So it's like what does that?
Wait, hold on. This is actually pretty interesting because this is really, really interesting. So one, I don't like comments could be bots. So
sure.
I'm just gonna assume that the news is putting out the right thing. But here's the other crazy thing. Russell Brand is almost like going to Texas and seeing the reality of the situation with like Joe Rogan, like, and then going to the chiropractor. I'm like, dude, this works. Like, what do you mean? They're not like witch doctors, you know? Because he really hates chiropractors. But I'm like, this is working, bro. Like, I feel it. But so Russell Brand posted a video and it said Trudeau has like crazy overreach. He's shutting people's bank accounts down. And I was like, wait a minute, that must have been from COVID, right? So then I watched the video and he's like, Trudeau was saying this. I was like, wait, is this breaking news? So I Googled it and I was like, when? Like, did this just happen? And the video that Russell Brand is a new video of Russell Brand, but the footage of him shutting down the bank accounts was from COVID. And I was like, and I hunted it down and I found the exact video that he played on his thing. And I was like, bro, this is from like 2 years ago.
Right.
Why'd you make it sound like it's happening today?
See.
And And then for me, I'm like, how do you trust anything now? Like these news out, like anybody could
like
say
maybe
anything,
that, like that's what I'm saying. Like the real, maybe the real footage is like is really not clear, but they're putting up a video that has some clarity of something, but it's not the same video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's like you just need to fill it with something. Like
I see it all the time. Yeah, where it's just the filler footage, what they're talking about, but they don't actually have the real. Because that's the only way to attract people. If someone is just on the screen talking, it'll bore people.
Dude, marketing matters, man. But for real though, right? Now I'm like, oh, that's why it's like all about testing it for yourself. It's like, why did you do the wake and bake? Because it was like, I want to see what people actually go through. Why did you go to the chiropractor? I want to see what it actually is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, why'd you go to Austin? Because I really got to see it. Why'd you see the pyramids? Because I really got to see it, you know? And if you don't see these things for your own self, you're kind of just like going off somebody else's information. And that could be totally doctored, like the Russell Brand example and like the thing you're saying that's not actually the footage.
Yeah.
Right? Like you need direct experience.
Yeah, you don't. I feel like even if it's news, you still should. Again,
that's crazy.
Even if it's news, you have to actually look at the article, read what it actually says, because a lot of people don't read it.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
Yeah, totally.
Or look at other news sources and what they're saying about it.
But that's wild because like
I don't know what I get that. Yeah, but I don't know who the Hill is. Like where does the Hill fall in the world of the news? Right.
Oh, so it could just be like a random, like it's not like CNN or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. How much time do you got before you got to jump?
Well, I was trying to do only an hour, so it's an hour already right now. If you got another minute, then it's okay.
All right. Yeah. Wet. I'll save the other ones. I'll just say this. Wet Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. How foggy it was.
Yeah.
So many days.
And like, I saw this. I heard this thing where it's like, we're having like an El Nino Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Because there was more.
I was on Reels though, bro. That was. On
I've heard that.
So
I heard. This I read on like CP24 actual like the page report news. This is like a while back, like months ago, when they said like because having so many El Niños or whatever it was, some hurricanes and stuff, that it would be a milder winter.
Yeah, it's just been raining. I was like, what's going on? But this is definitely climate change. Like if you are denying climate change, what are we doing?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't. When we were kids, I don't think there was a time when we didn't have snow on the, especially for Christmas.
No. Like even I think it was last year when I was like, oh, we're not gonna have Christmas, snowy Christmas, and then like the next morning, snow fell down.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? It was like on Christmas Day, and I was like, oh, dude, snow.
It just woke up that morning and you saw all the snow on the ground. Yeah.
Wild. Okay. I know you gotta jump, so we'll just jump here. Happy New Year, Vish. Tomorrow's New Year's. We'll do like
New Year's Eve. Sure. Oh yeah.
True. We'll do it next week. I thought we would talk about like prediction stuff, but we'll talk about what to look forward to in 2024. Till next week, take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.